What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's Brennan. I'm BMX45, and we're coming at you with another video. We have another in our How to Build series. We're looking at Jesmon for the BT23 format. Now, we've already done a How to Build back, I think, in BT20 for this deck, but the deck is changing a little bit. We're seeing a little bit more focus on a Jesmon, Soul Jesmon themed deck, which is not what we had from BT20 with the Ganku support being widely more received than the Jesmon support. So we're going to look into the new cards we get in this new set and how they might help us create that kind of traditional aggro Jesmon deck that we knew and loved back from the starter deck days. So that is what we're looking at right here. We are not looking at all of the Huckmons. We have a good selection of Huckmons, Bao Huckmons, Sistermons, Savior Huckmons, Jesmons, and Gankumons. Just looking at things that I think potentially could see play in the deck, as well as the Gankumons. Not something I'm really thinking we'll see play, but just looking at their abilities and seeing if we think that they might have any synergy with the deck, but more focusing on that Soul Jesmon deck. But hey, if you enjoy this type of content, be sure to smash that like button, comment down below. We love to hear your thoughts. Subscribe to the channel and hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss a single minute of the fun. All right, well, let's get into it here. And we're starting, of course, with the Digi-Egg. We got the Gurimon. Basically, if you have 6,000 DP or more when attacking, draw one. It's the staple one that's been used for Jesmon for a while. It's just the best one for this because most of the time you don't attack until you get up to your level 5 or higher. So yeah. Getting into the Huckmons, of course, there's the Searcher Huckmon from a BT6. Reveals top 5, which is an amazing ability. Adds 2 cards with Huckmon, Jesmon, or Sistermon. So adds any 2 pieces you want to your hand, which is really, really good. And then puts the rest on the bottom of your deck. Doesn't have an inheritable, but whatever. It's such a good search card, you kind of got to play it. And then we have the BT13 Huckmon, which when you play a Digimon or Sistermon its name, you may digivolve this card into Bao Huckmon without paying the cost. So there's ways to potentially play free Sistermons in this deck. So then you can just free digivolve to a Bao Huckmon on this guy. And then it has the when inheritable when you would play a Digimon with Sistermon its name, gain a memory. So memory gain inheritables are good. So this guy's good in the back of the stack. We also looking at the BT20 Huckmon. Start your main phase by trashing 1 card with Huckmon or Sistermon its name or Royal Knight trait in the hand. Draw 1 and gain 1 memory. That's a decent ability. It has a your turn inheritable. All of your Digimon get plus 1,000, which is also kind of nice. Not sure if this one's going to see play yet. I'm leaning more towards BT13, and of course, you're going to max out on your searchers. So you're going to max out on this guy, and you're going to max out potentially on the new Huckmon, which is a searcher as well. On play, reveal top 3. Add 1 card with Huckmon or Sistermon in its name and 1 card with Royal Knight trait. So you always get to add your Jesmon and one of your pieces for your lower end or your Sistermons for your abilities. And then place the rest on the bottom of the deck. And then once your turn, once return when any of your white Digimon are played, gain a memory. So he's just basically not as good of a searcher as this guy, but with an inheritable. So you're probably going to max out on this guy too, and then kind of find a balance if you want to play the BT13 or BT20 or both. That's going to be probably at the Huckmon line. Getting into Blancs, we'll look at BT6 Blanc first, which is the old Blanc that gives all of your Huckmon and Royal Knight trait. As long as you have a Huckmon or a Royal Knight trait in play, all of your Sistermons gain blocker, and then she's on play, draw 1. This deck has lots of draw power. It has lots of search ability. So the draw power isn't as good as it used to be, and the blocker's not even as good as it used to be, because generally you want things like decoy, you want effect protection on your Jesmon. So you don't necessarily need blocker because hopefully if you're playing the game right, you have a Jesmon GX ace in hand. So if your opponent has to attack over your Jesmon, it's not ending well for them. We also have the starter deck Sistermon Blanc, which was a good card on play by trashing 1 card in your hand. Draw 2 cards, and then it gave your Royal Knight trait or Huckmon Digimon all turns, gave it decoy so that you could protect this Digimon gains decoy, so got decoy, so it could protect your things. Again, there's better ways to get decoy, so I think we're leaning towards the new Sistermon Blanc BT23 on play. Add your top security card to your hand, then gain recovery plus 1, which is already kind of cool in itself. But then your turn, when this Digimon suspends, one of your other Digimon may digivolve into a Digimon card with Huckmon in its name, or the Royal Knight trait, or CS trait in the hand, or trash for the digital cost reduced by 1. So the fact that this is from trash is amazing. It makes it so easy to get, to use pieces in the trash to get to where you want to be. And then And then the reduced cost by 1 is also really, really good. We also have Bao Hakmon here, our level 4s. Main, once per turn, you may play 1 Digimon with Sistermon Gankumon its name from your hand with play cost reduced by 2. It also has the same all of your turn, all your Digimon gain plus 1,000. So this is kind of cool because it reduces that play cost of your Sistermons from like 3 or 4 down to 1 or 2. And then, or the Gankumon too, which we'll look at later. Looking at this guy more for like a 4 of, though, the BT13 Bao Hakmon, when you would play a Digimon with Sistermon in its name, you may Digivolve this Digimon into Savior Hakmon in your hand for additional cost. Then this Digimon, when this Digimon would Digivolve with this effect, reduce the Digivolution cost by 2. So you can potentially go into a Savior for 1 with the right play if you have a way to play a free Sistermon. And then it has the same when you play a Digimon with Sistermon and name, gain a memory. So it has that same memory gain inheritable, which can help you not pass turn. Also looking at the Sistermon's CLs, we have the one that lets you on play Digivolve one of your Digimon with the Royal Knight trait. Digivolve one of your Digimon into a Digimon card with the Royal Knight trait in your hand for its Digivolution cost. But then when one of your Digimon Digivolves into a Digimon with Hakmon or the Royal Knight trait, gain a memory. So when you go into a Jesmon, you basically reduce that cost. You gain the memory, so it's not a reduced cost, which is handy too against certain floodgates. So I think this card is still pretty good. This card might see play in combination with that new Sistermon Blanc, although the Blanc feels a little bit better. Although, like I said, reducing costs can be dangerous depending on what floodgates are around. You also have CL, the new CL, which is a blocker. On play, deletes one of your opponent's Digimon with a play cost of 4 or less. So it pops all floodgates, which is kind of nice. And then all turns when this Digimon suspends, you can Digivolve one of your opponent's Digimon. Digivolve one of your opponent's Digimon, which is actually really cool. So I think that this card potentially might see play as well. I'm not certain, just because it doesn't really, it's more of a defensive option against your opponent. It doesn't really extend your plays, but it's got some, but Digivolve is such an amazing keyword that could be the reason right there that you play this card. There's also the original Sistermon CL, which was on play, gain a memory, and then all turns, all your Digimon with Hakmon in their names or Royal Knight trait gain plus 2,000. So it was a really good DP buff, but playing her without the old Blanc, she's not a blocker, so she doesn't really do anything other than gain you that memory or gain you plus 2,000. So it's kind of iffy if she'll see play. Still really good for memory gain. And then, of course, the ST12 Sistermon CL, which was revealed top 3, add 1 card with Hakmon in its name or Royal Knight trait among them to your hand, trash the rest. So it was good because it put stuff in the trash, like your Sistermons that you wanted. And then all of your Digimon with Hakmon in their names or Royal Knight trait and gain reboot all turns. So that's really, really good. But not sure if this card, again, is going to see play just because we have so many different CLs and you just can't play them all. Gotta play them all. Getting into Savior Hakmons, we have the BT13 guy. When your turn, when you would play Digimon with Sistermon in its name, you may Digivolve this Digimon into a Digimon card with Jesmon in its name in your hand for the Digivolution cost. When this Digimon would Digivolve by this effect, reduce 2. So again, just like the Bao Hakmon. And then it had the inheritable when attacking once per turn. If it has the Royal Knight trait, you may play a Digimon card with Sistermon for your name. In its name for hand or trash without paying the cost. This is kind of good. Being able to always put more Sistermons on board is nice. We also have the BT20 guy, which on play, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 5,000 DP or less on play or when Digivolving. End of your turn by suspending one other Digimon. This Digimon may Digivolve into a card with Jesmon in its name in the hand without paying the cost. So it lets you Digivolve without paying the cost, which is really cool. All you got to do is have something like a Sistermon on board to suspend, which is you can do very easily in this deck with one of the new options. I'd add Inheritable Alliance, which is cool because with the new Jesmon has Alliance, so you can potentially have 2 instances of Alliance. A card that people are thinking is going to be very popular on this deck is the old original Savior Hakmon that originally was limited to 1, which is when Digital, you may play a card with Sistermon its name from your hand without paying the memory cost. So you got to be able to have something in your hand to play. And then when attacking, once per turn, if you have a Digimon card with Sistermon in its name in play, unsuspend this Digimon, which is actually really cool because you can get multiple checks that way. So if you can potentially, and it puts more Sistermons on the board, which we'll talk about with the new Jesmon in just a second. People are thinking that this is going to be the most popular one, and that you might probably play a couple copies of BT20. I'm uncertain where I land on this. I do like the BT13 one, but I definitely think that these are both really powerful. One that you're probably not going to play is the old BT or ST12 one, which is the when Digivolving, this Digimon may also attack your opponent's unsuspended Digimon for the turn. It's not, you don't need it anymore. You have so many ways to do that in this deck. And then when attacking once per turn, if this Digimon has the Royal Knight trait, you may play one Digimon card with Sistermon as named from your hand or trash without paying its memory cost. BT13 is just a better version of this, so I feel like you're not going to see this have play. We do have a new Gankumon in BT23, which has, when this card would be played by returning 3 cards with either Huckmon, Sistermon, or Jesmon in their name, so any combination, from your trash to the top or bottom of your deck, reduce the play cost by 5. On play, when Digivolving, you may play one Hinukamu token. Token. Hinukama. I can't pronounce it. It's awful. With just white 6000 DP Digimon with Alliance Reboot Blocker. Then delete one of your opponent's Digimon with a play cost of 6 or less. For each of your other Digimon, add 3 to this effect's play cost maximum. So you get your token, it automatically pops a 9. And if you have more Digimon, it pops even better. So it's kind of cool. And you can play it off of that Bao Huckmon we talked about, BT20, for cost 4. Because you play it for 6. If you have that Huckmon on the board, and then he can now help reduce it further by 2. So you can play it for 4, which is kind of nuts if you think about it. There's also Gankumon BT20, which is the start of the Gankumon Jesmon build, which I don't really like, which is when this card would be played, if you have a Digimon with Huckmon, Jesmon, or Sistermon its name, reduce the play cost by 4, so it plays for 8, and then reduce it further by 2 for the Bao Huckmon. And then it gets Reboot and Blocker. And then on play, when Digivolving, one of your Digimon may Digivolve into a level 6 or lower Digimon card with Huckmon, Jesmon, or Sistermon in the name or the Royal Knight trait in the hand or trash without paying the cost. So basically the whole thing is you don't pay the cost, so you get this guy into your trash, you go into him for free, you get Digivolve 2 to one of your opponent's Digimon. Then if you have Gankumon or X-Antibody in the Digimon's Digivolution cards until the end of your opponent's turn, none of your Digimon are affected by your opponent's effects. None of your Digimon with Jesmon or Huckmon, Sistermon, or Royal Knight trait, any of your Digimon. So you basically just play a bunch of floodgates in this deck, and then they're unaffected. And you put your opponent to like 6, and you just don't care because they can't do anything. And then the only thing they can do is attack. And if they attack over your stuff, you just GX ace them. It's awful. Awful. And then opponent's turn, when this Digimon is opponent's turn, all of your Digimon with Sistermon or Huckmon in their names or the Royal Knight trait gain Reboot, so you can reboot this stuff, and Blocker. And then your opponent's turn, if it's Jesmon GX, all of your Digimon gain Reboot or Blocker. That's all your Digimon too, not just the ones with the type. It's just awful. So I don't want to play the deck this way. I want to play it more aggressive. OG Jesmon, I want to have a Jesmon in it, because this deck doesn't even play Jesmon. Really, that, and if they do, they play like one or 2 copies of like a non-important one. So I think I don't think this is going to be the play style for the deck. I mean, maybe this guy would be good in the deck, but I'm not sure that this is the play style for the deck. We have the new Jesmon. This is what we're really excited about. This is a Jesmon with Rush Alliance. It has when Digivolving, when attacking, you may play one Atho Poor token, which is white 6000 DP Digimon with Reboot, Blocker, and Decoy. Or from your hand or trash, one Digimon card with Sistermon in its name without paying the cost. This effect can't play cards with the same names as any of your Digimon. So the cool thing about this is it gets bodies on the board, but you can't you can't play like 2 Blancs or 2 CLs or 2 tokens. You can only play one of each. The nice thing about this is if you have other effects that allow you to play Sistermons after that, you use this effect first to get your stuff on the board, and then you use the other abilities like the inheritables from Save Your Huckmon to play stuff, after you've played as many possible cards by his effect. So the nice thing about this is you can play up to 1 of each, so you can get up to 3 with them. You can get up to 2 because it's not once per turn, so you can use it when Digivolving, then when attacking. And then once per turn, when any of your Digimon are played, this Digimon may attack, which is really good. So if you pass turn, it's pseudo blitz. So you don't need the old blitz Jesmon. This guy's just even better. Plus, this guy can Digivolve on a Savior Huckmon for 3 or a level 5 CS trait. And he can Digivolve on a Huckmon for cost 5 if your opponent has a 10,000 DP or higher Digimon. So if you have a Huckmon, just keep a Huckmon in back to raise to always be able to warp into him. Or if you even have a scramble on the board, you can scramble into your Huckmon and go into him and still attack because you get rush. And there's potential ways you can maintain turn with just like 3 memory and the new Huckmon that gains you a memory. So, or even the BT13 Huckmon. So they're both really, really good. So I do think this card's really good, and it's the reason I want to play this new aggro Jesmon. Of course, we have Jesmon X-Antibody, the BT10 version, which is piercing. When digital, you may play 1 card with Sistermon from either the hand or trash without paying its memory cost. Then if Jesmon is in this Digimon cards, or you have a Sistermon in play until the end of your opponent's turn, all of your Digimon can also attack your opponent's unsuspended Digimon and gets plus 2,000. So that's nice because the bonus, the boost lasts till the end of your opponent's turn. I feel like the newer Jesmon X-Antibody is still more of the potential play for this deck. Digitals for 1, whereas the old one digitals for 0. But with the Sistermon, CL, and Blanc that gains you memory or reduces cost or gains you memory, you can easily Digivolve into this card for free from the hand or trash, and just by attacking really with the Jesmon, and then you get another instance of alliance. So if you allianced already with your other Jesmon, you can alliance again for extra checks, and then you get when Digivolving, if Jesmon or X-Antibody is in this Digivolution cards for the turn, one of your Digimon isn't affected by your opponent's effects, so you gain protection. Then one of your Digimon may attack, and then all turns, one of your Digimon with Sistermon in their names or Raw Knight trait gain piercing. When this Digimon, and can also attack unsuspended Digimon. So you gain piercing, can attack unsuspended Digimon to clear threats off the board. And then while this Digimon is Jesmon GX, all of your Digimon gain piercing and can attack unsuspended Digimon. So that's kind of cool as well. So this guy is cool because he gives you that protection. He also, in combination, if you have say you have this guy, so you attack, unsuspend, Digivolve into him, you get alliance twice, so you can check 3 copies, or do 3 checks, and then you can check again with him, potentially with alliance, for 2 more checks if you haven't suspended all of your Sistermons on the board. So that's actually really good. So you can almost go for game. It's always just 1 check short. Feels like. So I don't know if there is a way to OTK in this deck, but it's pretty close. You can go pretty far down the rabbit hole. Of course, there's GX Ace, your level 7 option. I don't think the BT10 one is going to be played. He had the when Digivolving, you may place 1 card with Raw Knight trait and a play cost of 13 less from your hand or trash under the Digimon as its bond digital cards, then activate one of that card's when Digivolving effects. Then you gain Blitz, and then all turns while this card with Royal Knight trait is, or while a card with the Royal Knight trait is in this Digimon's digital cards, it gains piercing, blocker, and security attack +1. Yeah. And then for each of the Royal Knight trait cards in this Digimon's Digivolution cards. It's good, but the GX Ace is just better, I feel. Hand, counter, blastage, evolve. You can actually DNA Digivolve between Gankuma and Jesmon for free for this. It has on play when Digivolve, when attacking once per turn, place 1 Royal Knight trait card from your hand or trash as this Digimon's bomb Digivolution card. Delete one of your opponent's Digimon with as much or less DP as this Digimon. And then when attacking once per turn, this Digimon unsuspends. Then for every 2 Royal Knight trait cards in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, trash your opponent's top security card. So that's kind of cool too. Yeah, it's unsuspends is pretty broken, but it's just such a good defensive option, because if you can protect your Jesmon and you have to force your opponent to attack, you can ace into this and just ruin their day. So it's really good to conserve it in your hand. I think this is the way to go for the deck in terms of level 7s. We have our options as well for Master Disciple. Reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. Add 1 card with Huckmon or Sistermon or Royal Knight trait among them to your hand. Trash the rest, so it puts stuff in your trash like your Sistermons. Then you place this card in the battle area. The security effect's the exact same, and then it has the delay ability. Next time one of your Digimon would Digivolve, this turn reduce that Digimon cost by 1. So it's a reduced cost, so you don't activate it like you activate it before you Digivolve, and then the next time you Digivolve, you get that -1. Instead of like training where you activate it to Digivolve. So it's in some ways it's better, in some ways it's worse, being that it's only 1 reduced cost by 1, but it allows you to do other things before you use that reduced cost. We have second Meppa as well, which is the option card for GX, which is while you have a Royal Knight trait Digimon, you can ignore this card's color requirement. Main, unsuspend one of your Digimon. Then if that Digimon is Jesmon GX, activate one of its when Digivolving effects. So that's kind of is an interesting card as well, just because it potentially could get you game. I don't think this card is necessarily going to see play, but it is a kind of cool option. And then of course we have the Sistermon Sisters Training Gym, which is the new option for BT23, which I'm really excited for because it has the ability while you have a Digimon with Huckmon and its name on the field, you can ignore this card's color requirements. Main, draw 1 from your deck, then place this card in the battle area for cost 2. And then when any of your Digimon Digivolve into a Digimon with Huckmon or Jesmon in its name, by trashing this card, you can play 1 Sistermon in its name from your hand or trash without paying the cost. And then its security ability lets you play a Sistermon from hand or trash without paying its cost, then place this card in the battle area. So again, just ways to get more Sistermons on the board for free so you can activate all your effects to reduce your Digivolution costs and really go up your line for next to nothing, which is why this deck has never really cared about having like a memory tamer, and this like cards like this make it even more so that you just don't care to have a memory tamer. So probably going to be maxing this out 3 or 4 copies at least. I think it's going to be really good. I think it's going to synergize really well with a lot of the old lines and new lines, and potentially we can make something that's really fast. Like I said, you could potentially check 5 cards in 1 turn. I just don't think there's a way to do the OTK, but I might be wrong. Maybe if you have a searcher still on board, you can do the OTK like just no problem. But let me know your guys' thoughts about all of this. Let me know what you guys are thinking for this deck. Do you think it's going to be more of an aggro solo Jesmon deck, or do you think we're going to still have some Gankumon in it? Let me know your guys' thoughts about, did I miss any Huckmons you think are just too good to play, or any Sistermons that I wasn't thinking about, like the Awaken stuff. I just don't think it's necessary, but let me know your guys' thoughts. Obviously you might play cards like Trainings and other stuff like that. And I'm just really excited to try out this deck, and hopefully we can find something that's really good, because I would love to take this to an online tournament. I have Ultimate Cups in November and December, and I would love to play this deck again at a tournament if I felt like it was up to the challenge of, being, competitive in the meta. But looks like that's all the time we have for this video. Thank you very much for tuning in, and we hope to see you in the next video. As always, have a wonderful day. And that is all for now, folks.